Thank you, Senator Langford. Senator Hassan, you may ask your questions.
Well, thank you, Chairman Peters, and I also want to thank Ranking Member Portman and congratulate you both on your new positions. And I look forward to continuing to work with you both over the next 2 years. And a thank you to you as well, Ms. Tandon, for your testimony today, for your willingness to serve, for taking the time to meet with me a couple of weeks ago. And I want to thank your family, too, because this kind of service requires full family support. And I found your testimony about the influence of your family on you quite compelling, and I just wanted to say thank you to them as well. I'll also add that I am a co-sponsor on the Taxpayer Right to Know and the End Government Shutdown bills, so I would look forward to continuing my work with Senator Langford and others on this committee and with you on those issues, among others. I wanted to start my questioning today on the issue of wasteful government programs. As the lead Democrat on the Federal Spending Oversight Subcommittee, I introduced bipartisan legislation to implement several recommendations made by the Government Accountability Office to eliminate duplicative federal programs and improve efficient spending. However, a barrier to doing more to eliminate duplicative waste is the lack of a complete federal program inventory. If confirmed, will you renew efforts to complete a federal program inventory?
I will. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. And will you work with me to develop legislation to better identify wasteful programs and work to eliminate them?
I absolutely will, Senator. I recognize inefficient, ineffective programs really don't help anyone.
Thank you. Now on to our legacy IT systems. The federal IT infrastructure is woefully out of date. This not only opens federal systems up to cyber attacks, but also fails to provide the level of customer service that the American people expect in the 21st century. Of particular concern is the fact that the federal government spends more taxpayer dollars on maintaining old legacy IT systems than investing in new, agile, and secure systems. So what are your top priorities when it comes to modernizing the federal IT infrastructure?
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for your leadership and the leadership of this committee on the issue of technology. Obviously, we have multiple challenges in technology. One is cybersecurity, and the recent SolarWinds incident tells us that we have a lot of work to do. And I would say, if I'm privileged to serve as OMB director, one of my top priorities will be to work on the issue of cybersecurity and do so with this committee. It's also important that we make our government more consumer friendly.
Yeah.
One of the big differences between the United States and other countries is the fact that our government can be woefully inefficient and ineffective because we don't really use technology effectively. It's an irony that in the United States we have the greatest technological innovations and some of the most technologically innovative companies, and our country, our government, you still can't access information. Small businesses can't find out if they can get access to a small business loan as efficiently, as effectively as possible. So the consumer dynamic and also understand the federal government's ability to understand its own resources and allocate resources also woefully inadequate. There have been innovations on technology funding. The Technology Modernization Fund has been a way in which we can allocate resources to pull down for these kind of modernizations. And as you know, the president in the ARP plan has proposed additional funding for the Technology Modernization Fund and ITOR because we recognize the importance of this modernization also during a global pandemic where we need to make sure that our agencies' information and essentially the public's privacy is protected and protected well. So modernizing our systems and allocating resources so that we modernize our systems is really, I believe, a way in which we can make the federal government much more efficient, much more effective, and much more directed to the needs of customers, the American citizens.
Thank you. You've laid out some ways that I think Congress can help with this effort, but is there anything else that you would like to add about ways Congress can help agencies realize their modernization goals while moving away from wasteful legacy IT systems?
So I guess I would add that, there's bipartisan legislation that has been passed to really ensure agencies can do things like move to the cloud,
Right.
really move away. As you know, we have within some agencies systems that are 30, 40, 50 years old, where we spend a lot of time and energy and money kind of patching their systems rather than really fully moving those. Now, fully moving those to cloud or other mechanisms. I think the real challenge here is, frankly, it takes an investment of resources, in 1 year, and because we don't have capital budgets or other systems, it creates some disincentives. But I appreciate the resources in the Technology Modernization Fund, and I think it is one of the reasons why the president has proposed a substantial increase in that, in TMF as well as ITOR.
Great, thank you. Last issue I want to touch on this morning. As head of the Office of Management and Budget, you'll oversee the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, which reviews agency rulemaking decisions. As the Biden administration works to undo dangerous regulatory rollbacks from the previous administration, the American people need to know that any new policies are fact-based and not politically motivated. If confirmed, how will you work with the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs to ensure that it reviews agency rule proposals using reliable data and science to support rulemaking decisions?
Senator, I think this is a critical issue. OIRA and OMB should both, their policymaking, the policymaking and decision-making process should really always be guided by facts and evidence, analysis of real impact on people's lives. And I commit to this, I commit to members of this committee to ensure that that is the process going forward, and that we use up-to-date evidence, the newest information, reliable science. We are committed to an evidence-based approach, and getting that evidence from all members of Congress, regardless of party. I believe everyone's information is critical, and so I look forward to working with members of the committee on this.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.